We're going to start off game one here proper. We've got Dereck on the right, Gregory on the left.
All right.
Those Magia sleeves are beautiful.
Yeah. Hey, there's nothing wrong with orange either. It's just exciting to see a legendary card like that. So rolling a 5.
And a 5, evenly matched duelist right here. This is so important. You can. The reason why we're so silent is because it's so serious. And there's the big snake eyes. Unfortunately, we're not playing that deck today. We're playing blue eyes.
Not this time.
So not going to get the good luck there. Gregory's probably going to start us off here, like I said, looking for the most advantage possible.
And this is an interesting matchup, too, because both decks have a lot of grind game, but once somebody breaks through, it gets pretty difficult from there.
So here we see Gregory starting off with the bonfire. Sometimes, depending on the Ryzeal variant you're playing, this could actually be a sign of weakness, you know? People always wonder, like, okay, do you interact with the main deck cards, or do you try to just stop the really powerful extra deck cards like Duo Drive? Leading bonfire could either represent strength or really represent, like, a really weak hand. We got X there, though, which is definitely the best starter for this deck. Going to be using its effect here, sending Totally Awesome to the graveyard from the extra deck.
So we have been seeing a lot of Ryzeal players play more and more water, because obviously the shark cards are meant for Xyz, right? It's in the name, but using things like Surfacing Big Jaws and everything gives you access to just great stuff like Bahamut Shark and Totally Awesome. And so, yeah, I think sending that Totally Awesome to the graveyard did reveal a little bit.
Yeah, and that was a really awesome interaction from Gregory here, putting the Totally Awesome back in his extra deck, because one of the bad things about X, I guess, going first is that you do kind of like not get any value out of that first turn send. Like, people send Eclipse Twins like you've been known to do as well going first, but sometimes that could be bad if you're not able to actually establish any more rank 4s afterwards.
Yeah, there's a temptation to get Myriologic Aggregator out because later you can put it under Detonator and then detach as you need it, but going first, it doesn't really give you a lot of value, and it kind of telegraphs to the opponent, I don't really have any other ideas. But let's see if we're going right into the Duo Drive.
That is definitely the main monster to go for here at the beginning of your combo. Going to be resolving its effect, attaching 2 materials on resolution, and searching for 2 Ryzeal cards.
Yeah, the problem with the Blue Eyes deck sometimes is, other than effect failure, you know, you sometimes crowd out your other options, especially if it's a combo-centric deck. We don't know if we actually are going to see the Dragon Master Mage, but man, those sleeves just give me a good feeling.
So there's the Gregory searching a second sword as well as the Field Spell Ryzeal Cross. I believe we already summoned sword this turn using its effective special.
Special node. That's good. Node effect, send Duo Drive target sword.
Yep, so we're going to bring back the sword here using Node's effect.
Activate cross.
Now, this could get difficult if we end on something like Abyss Dweller. Obviously, there are some graveyard-activated effects in the Blue Eyes combo, such as Maiden of White. Looks like we're going to do Detonator first here.
Going to be attaching that X Ryzeal from the graveyard, giving him 3 materials total. This does also open us up to having the Cross Negate available in case any scary cards. I believe that's a normal summon there of Ice. Going to be using the effect on normal, special another Ryzeal monster from the deck. This will let him unlock another rank 4, essentially, if he wants to.
Completely uninhibited play.
Yeah, I wonder what the best rank 4 here is afterwards, because now, because he has Cross, he's locked into summoning only like different named Xyz monsters. So we could probably go for a Dweller here. It's probably the best thing to make like blind like this, because I don't believe he has access to any of the water rank 4s that are in his extra deck.
No, because you need 2 waters for the Bahamut Shark here. So let's see, as he accesses his extra deck, what he pulls out.
There we see the overlay into Abyss Dweller.
There it is.
I'll go ahead and activate Dweller.
Activating the Dweller just to get the material back in grave, I believe, so he can use the Cross effect to get the extra draw. Very heads-up play there.
So 1 to the bottom of the deck and 1 to the bottom of the extra deck. Now, coming into this weekend, the conversation was, you know, do I cut out some of the cards that interact from the hand for board-breaking cards, like anything, right? The Ultimate Slayer right off the top of the deck would be really helpful here. So we'll see what his opponent Dereck is thinking when he builds his deck, if he includes those board-breaking cards.
And something to note, too, that Dereck mentioned is almost all the cards in Gregory's hand are unknown cards, meaning he could have all kinds of powerful non-entrant sources of interactions on top of this 3-material Ryzeal Detonator that can pop multiple cards, and an Abyss Dweller in case Dereck is playing any graveyard-centric decks. Reminder for everyone at home, Gregory does not necessarily know that Dereck is playing Blue Eyes, meaning he's making this Abyss Dweller completely blind, which is a totally fine play to do most of the time.
Oh, absolutely. And it's true. You can show up with all the Kaiba merch you have and just be like, yeah, I'm just playing Malice. It's great. Oh, but there, the cat's out of the bag, as Sage with Eyes of Blue normal summon may be grabbing a light level 1 tuner from the deck to the hand.
But Gregory is flashing a little bit of a card called Droll and Lockbird. So after this, Sage does get to search and gets popped by this Detonator effect. That might be the end of Dereck's ability to search the rest of his cards.
Is that Gateway to Chaos at the top of the deck? That field spell searches out a Blackluster Soldier Ritual monster. I really think this is a Dragon Master Magia combo deck.
I mean, why else would you need a Ritual monster to be in your hand, right?
Yeah, but that's still wild. I mean, he may just like rituals, but good.
And he's playing the Ultimate Fusion. We see it there in his hand.
Yeah, I think the cat's out of the bag. This is going to be a fun one if he can get through. So he does grab the Maiden of White. It's going to give him access to True Light, but it's going to be kind of difficult, obviously, because that card does activate, so Ryzeal Detonator could get it too.
It looks like Gregory is thinking on resolution of Sage here, or did he just let Dereck continue? Oh, he did let Dereck continue. Okay. Didn't choose to activate that Droll and Lockbird. Did it miss timing or something? I don't think so.
No, I don't think it would. Maybe he didn't want to lock out of it. He does have what appears to be a Mulcharmy Fualos in hand, so maybe he thinks if he loses everything, he can use that.
I guess. Or maybe he's just confident that the Dweller and the Detonator are enough to stop whatever's going on. Also, I guess this deck doesn't really search that much beyond Sage, besides maybe Spirit.
Yeah, that's fair. You might want to keep that at hand. Or you might want to use it in such a way that your opponent overcommits on the True Light for Wishes of Eyes the Blue. But let's see, because we get True Light now.
Yeah, True Light into the face of a Ryzeal Detonator is a little awkward because it kind of needs to activate, and because it is a continuous trap, that could be a little awkward.
Yes.
So on resolution of Maiden of White, we're going to negate using Ryzeal Cross, thus denying Dereck the access, and he's just going to scoop it right there. He's like, I don't have access to True Light. I don't have access to any of my Link monsters or Synchro monsters. I can't do anything, and you'll just win the game on the next turn. May as well not waste the time.
So already into the side decks, I believe Dereck would be likely to go first, trying to pull off that combo, and we do see him going into the side deck. I see a couple of Droll and Lockbirds and some other cards there. But yeah, Gregory is the winner of our first game there, so they have got their work cut out for them. It's going to be quite a grind this weekend, both of these particularly grindy decks. I think he did a great job just saying, hey, I've got my field established. I'm not going to let you get into the Blue Eyes engine.
And something I really liked from Gregory's side of play was sort of the intention he had with all of his cards. Like, he was very much valuing having as many cards as possible and not really trying to go for the biggest combo you've ever seen. That's what these pure Ryzeal decks are kind of doing. They're very low to the ground. It's really hard to interact with them to the point where they cannot get to a Ryzeal Detonator, and they're like, I'm just going to back up everything I have with non-engine and really generic, powerful rank 4 monsters, and that should be enough to win me most of my games. But there we see Dereck on the other side kind of maybe being punished by being a little bit, I don't want to say greedier than maybe other Blue Eyes players, but having like those really powerful options like Ultimate Fusion, like Gateway of Chaos, like potentially any Ritual Monsters to search out that card, to go for those Magia lines, because his hand was all those cards. His hands was 2 Sage, a spell and trap card that don't really do anything by themselves, and he kind of got punished for that playing into Gregory's board.
Certainly shades of Gem Knight Garnet. You want to keep it in the deck for your Brilliant Fusion. You don't necessarily want to draw it, and there's so many different ways to combo to get that card back into your hands. So it is the risk of playing a sort of high potential combo deck like this, is that you just draw the pieces sort of out of order, but that is the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game.
Yeah, this matchup looks to me like the battle of the fancy versus the not fancy, you know? Like the pure Ryzeal, no bells and whistles, just these powerful cards that do powerful things, and then the Blue Eyes deck being like, there's so many powerful engine requirements that exist, whether it's the Primite cards, whether it's the Blue Eyes cards, that if you play all of them, your ceiling for power is just so huge, and Dereck is really banking on that and hoping for it in Game 2.
Well, it's certainly kind of weird to say slow and steady wins the race when you think about Ryzeal, such a very dominant deck in this format, absolutely. But it is a little bit more cautious, right? It just kind of does what it does. It's not trying to get too fancy, like you said about the Blue Eyes deck. But this, again, is one of the first events that we have seen Blue Eyes at the YCS stage. There's been great, regionals. There's the French Open tomorrow. So it's not like there's other stages that it hasn't been on, but it is just neat to finally see Blue Eyes on the YCS stage.
And there could be a lot of really fun options coming in from the side deck for specifically the Blue Eyes deck, having so many interesting dragons or different Blue Eyes monsters that could come in. I'm really excited to see if Dereck does have anything fancy like that, because he's already shown that he might have some fancy stuff baked into his deck that other Blue Eyes players are not necessarily willing to play.
Well, certainly a showcase for sure, but he is going to get a chance to go first here. So if he does, depending on what happens with the hand there from Gregory, may not be any way to stop it, so we may finally get to see that hallowed card.
Yeah, going second here, we saw that Gregory was playing things like Mulcharmy Fualos. Those cards will come into play a lot more when you're going second, because they can only be activated when you control no cards, and that could be a really fun way to not necessarily stop Dereck from doing something, but definitely incentivize him to stop doing stuff, because otherwise Gregory will just have so much advantage. Well,
but you get your advantage if there really is a Magia in there, because technically you can negate a spell, the trap, a monster effect, so it's almost like 3 cards in one, but it certainly costs a lot to get there, and with the Fualos, man, you'd be giving them so much.
It's like the ultimate topper for your combo. It's the cherry on top that is very delectable and surprisingly big. 5,000 attack, right?
5,000, yeah, and you still get access to cards like Dominus Purge because it's a light for some reason.
Yes.
So some really interesting stuff there. Not sure if we'll see the Dominus Purge. You're going to peek in the entire deck as he was scrolling through there. But
yeah, not necessarily every Blue Eyes deck does play it, but they have the option to, which is really nice.
So just getting ready here. And looks like we are going into game 2 of round 2 of YCS Houston.
All right, let's see if Dereck chose to go first here to give himself the best opportunity possible to set up. All right, we see an opening hand.
Activate Fulo.
Ooh, a draw phase Fulo's playing around potentially any talents that could be in Dereck's deck.
Yeah, looks like kind of a stutter step hand here with 2 copies of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. I did see an infinite permanent set down. There's a Droll and Lockbird.
And there's the set and pass from Dereck.
Oh, and I think that's a Primite Drill Beam.
Getting rid of the Solemn Judgment. May as well not lose the life points just to lose Judgment anyway. I like the way Dereck thinks. And there's the Bonfire. Like I said, this does project a little bit of weakness from Gregory's side, but it does resolve again here.
Anything on rest?
I think you have to shotgun the Droll and Lockbird right away,
Yes.
activating that as soon as possible.
This turns off Ryzeal from being able to search and duo drive later in the turn as well. Really huge in this matchup.
Ice effect.
So this is curious. You could do the Ghost Ogre. I feel like you save the Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit for the Ryzeal duo drive because when it activates its effect, it doesn't detach materials yet. So you can go ahead and destroy it, and they don't get nearly as much advantage there. But you're just kind of holding on. Now, duo drive obviously not an issue here because of the Droll and Lockbird. So yeah, it's kind of weird trying to figure out when you were going to try to use the Ghost Ogre.
Yeah, there maybe was an argument to maybe trying to keep Gregory off that first rank 4 because just destroying the Ice Ryzeal takes a body off board. But he's betting on Gregory not having any more Ryzeal names like Sword or X in hand that he can special anyway, which I don't think Gregory did have. So maybe it was the right play to do, but it's always hard to say. Like those main deck names of Ryzeals are so hard to interact with because they're just so powerful.
Just scrolling through. Can't quite
Like they're both
see.
starters and extenders, all of them.
It's a great deck for a reason.
And it has a protection.
Correct.
Bringing back the Molcharmi
I'll go ahead.
Fuwalos.
I will enter battle.
Enter
I'll
battle.
attack for 3K.
3K to the dome from Gregory's side over to Dereck.
8,000 to 5,000.
I'll then go.
Yeah, I got a little peek of Gregory's hand. I think it is just 2 imperm, and so with that Ghost Ogre on ice would have stopped Gregory's entire turn.
It really would have.
But it's a tough call, right?
Oh, yeah, because you don't know.
If they just have a Sword Ryzeal in hand, they combo anyway, and it's better probably to save it for like a really powerful rank 4 that they try to use the effect of.
Hindsight's 2020. Oh, setting and passing again there. Unfortunately, just not in the cards for him.
Activate 7 Tachyon.
Oh, a newer card, 7 Tachyon.
Yep, from Maze of the Master. This will let him reveal a C101 to C109 number monster. That's going to be C104 Masquerade. Now we can search for a monster that's the same level, type, and or attribute. Any combination of those 2.
Which is so crazy. So we're going to grab our light here.
Yep, we're going to get Ice Ryzeal here. Light level 4. And now we put a card from our hand back on top of the deck.
From my hand on top of my deck.
Which is so huge. I'm sure there's some decks actually getting the rank up Magic plays, but right here, just using it for Ice Ryzeal.
Yep, that's like the like most powerful part about the pure Ryzeal deck is that it's just so consistent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it just affects
You
ice.
still get it, but
Yeah,
the
that's
ice will destroy.
So this gets destroyed. I will go ahead and summon from deck.
So the
Yeah.
Ghost Ogre's still
summon
denying
it
an
out.
Exceed monster, but maybe too little too late here. But
Well, now that Gregory has the
Sword
ability
Ryzeal,
to
Sword
search,
Ryzeal
we can
effect.
use Sword to just like get back other cards.
I'll go ahead and add X.
So then we're going to get the X Ryzeal here, and then probably just summon it, search again, get another X Ryzeal because, another Ice Ryzeal because why not? We haven't used it to special this turn yet, which could be pretty cool.
I'll go ahead and special out X, sending Eclipse Twins. I'll go X defect to add.
Yes.
don't have to do much here in terms of damage.
I'll go
With only
ahead
1
and
set card
add
and 5,000 life points, 3,000's already on the board with Ryzeal Detonator. Gregory looking to be in a good spot as he adds Sword to his hand.
Yep, I think Gregory at this point is just being like, how can I protect my going for gameplay this turn? Because I have more than enough damage with all these rank 4s.
Duo drive effect to attach.
Mm-hmm.
I'll make it easy for you.
Uh-oh.
To the summon.
Ooh,
Solemn
on the summon of
Judgment,
Duo Drive,
reducing his
Judgment.
life points.
So yeah, but you pay half.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you go down to 25.
2,500 life points now, but...
I'll then go ahead and attempt to leave main phase.
And you will get the game.
Yeah.
Oh, and there it is. Ryzeal Detonator, 2 pokes was all that was needed thanks to that
Oh,
Judgment.
Dereck.
Not a single Blue Eyes Engine card in Dereck's hand for that game.
I know,
Super unfortunate
I know. There's a lot of Blue Eyes White Dragon duelists out there in the field, so not to say that Blue Eyes is not a great deck, but it just wasn't the best match, unfortunately, for Dereck's, but he's still obviously still in contention, X1 Katab. But Gregory is the match.